Good afternoon, everyone. Great to be with you. My name is Howard Zemsky, President and CEO of Empire State Development. What a fabulous day here, just unbelievable. I want to start by recognizing some guests in the audience. First of all, I want to recognize Assembly Majority Leader Joe Morelli. And Joe, I want to express all of our condolences on the loss of your father, Gil. I know was a Korean War veteran and a tradesman, and we're very sorry for your loss, and thank you for being with us. Senator Michael Ransenhofer, you can applaud. Syosset High School graduate, by the way. Just saying. Assembly Member Stephen Hawley. Assembly Member Sean Ryan. Assembly Member Harry Bronson. Genesee County Legislature Chairman Raymond Cianfrini. President and CEO of the Genesee County Economic Development Center, Steve Hyde. Genesee Community College President James Sunser. University of Rochester President and Finger Lakes Regional Economic Development Co-Chair Joel Seligman. CEO of Wegmans Food Markets and Finger Lakes Regional Economic Development Co-Chair Danny Wegman. President and CEO of Greater Rochester Enterprise Mark Peterson. This one's trouble. President of Buffalo Building Trades, Paul Brown. And most importantly, the CEO of 1366 Technologies, Frank Van Mierlo. You know, this podium is strategically located. I know this is going to be hard to believe, but I want you to know that this is true. My right arm right now is in Western New York, and my left arm is in the Finger Lakes region. Because this has been a collaboration, it's been a great collaboration, and it's great for all of the Upstate region, and I'm really proud. I know how much work has gone into this on the part of so many people. So it's a fabulous day. It's a great honor to serve as the Governor's Commissioner for Economic Development. As you all know, economic opportunity is job one in this administration. Economic opportunity in Upstate New York is job 1AAA. And again today, with the opportunity provided to our communities with next generation jobs, opportunities for communities long forgotten, for regions long forgotten, for families long forgotten. That history of neglect became way too acceptable throughout Upstate New York. It is not acceptable anymore. It's not acceptable under Governor Cuomo. And we have had the governor who has put us in Upstate New York first. So it is great to be here. It's great to be here with this governor on such an incredible red letter date for this region and for upstate New York. And with that, it is my great honor and privilege to introduce 1366 Technologies CEO Frank Van Mierlo.
Thank you, Howard, and thank you all for being here today. And today is a wonderful day, and I want to thank the governor for making this all possible. It's an exciting day, not only for the region, but for U.S. manufacturing, for the great state of New York, and for 1366 Technologies. And we are enthusiastic that we're going to be part of the fabric of this vibrant community. Some of our best people are moving here. In fact, Brian Eller, who is here with us today, is going to lead the factory that we're about to build. It's a lot of, you know, it seems even the weather is cooperating today to make this special. and the ability to make this, for this, you know, why this event happened really comes down to vision. Our vision that 7 years ago when we set out to make solar cheaper than coal, and the governor's vision, you know, the belief that advanced manufacturing can be an engine for growth and create jobs. And it is, you know, we really want to thank the governor for all the work that you've done leading up to this event. The solar industry is booming, not just here in the US, where installations are increasing at record pace, but worldwide. You know, it's becoming a real solution to the energy mix, and it's enthusiastic to see world leaders, prime ministers of Japan and India, activity in China, all focused on this new industry. It's a huge opportunity, and one that we are collectively now set to seize, and we do that in large part by building the manufacturing in this county. At 1366, we make silicon wafers, and I brought one with me. This one is special because I'm going to give it to the governor pretty soon. But in fact, our wafers are in many ways unremarkable. They're 6 inches, they're gray, square, and so, you know, they don't look like anything special, but their ability to have an impact on the world is immense. And there is nothing unremarkable about the way that we are manufacturing these wafers. And we soon will be manufacturing them here in New York. We have radically redesigned the manufacturing process by combining 4 steps into one, eliminating a lot of the waste. And so this old process is now replaced by a process that is 50% of the cost and only 1/3 of the energy. So that's a huge step forward. And it's especially important because the silicon wafer is the costliest component in a solar panel. Direct Wafer was invented by first building a proof of concept. And then, just like we did every stage of our business, we've done this in a very methodical fashion, where we did a pilot machine first after doing our concept. Then we did a first scale pilot. And then in 2013, opened up our first factory in Massachusetts, where we are now doing thousands of wafers. We'll soon be doing millions of wafers here in New York. And we invented the first full-scale manufacturing machine. Then we did a second-generation manufacturing machines, and we currently have 3 Gen 3 machines that are running and producing wafers. In fact, today they're running 24 hours. We're in the middle of a 100,000 wafer campaign for a big international project. So some of you might think, boy, that's a long step, right? Concept, all these prototypes. But you know, building a strong foundation is essential. I mean, this is exactly the way that you can build a large industry, and strong foundations support tall buildings. So with that, I'd like to introduce a short video and give you another view. We could play the video now.
Under Governor Cuomo's leadership, the growth of solar in New York State has increased more than 300%, making the Empire State a true leader in developing clean energy technology. That's why companies companies like 1366 Technologies are coming to New York to continue the momentum, to hire the best high-tech workforce for advanced manufacturing in the country, to take advantage of low-cost power and water, and to benefit from New York's commitment to growing more businesses in the state. 1366 Technologies is at the forefront of the solar energy industry, and it's revolutionizing the future of energy and the manufacturing of solar wafers. The company's goal? To deliver solar below the cost of coal, making solar the most affordable form of electricity.
Silicon wafer is the costliest component of the solar module, and we have developed a manufacturing process that dramatically cuts the cost of making that silicon wafer.
The company's revolutionary Direct Wafer technology transforms how the wafers are made, replacing a decades-old method. It saves time and money and reduces the environmental impact. Bringing $700 million of investment to the region, 1366 Technologies will create over 1,000 good jobs. It will also be a key contributor in the development of Western New York's solar energy cluster. Today's partnership between 1366 Technologies and New York State will transform Upstate's economy, revitalize its communities, create jobs, and revolutionize the solar industry.
Was another example of very nice teamwork between 1366 and the state of New York that we pulled this together in 24 hours. But it's the same deliberate approach that we use for development that we're going to use for this project. You know, we have ambitious plans here. We want to build a factory that's going to do more than 3 gigawatts of wafers every year. To put that in perspective, a nuclear power plant generally is 1 gigawatt. And then we want to employ more than 1,000 people. But you know, we're first going to do our first step, which is building a 250 megawatt facility, which makes 1 million wafers a week. And then we'll grow very quickly on those foundations. Now, we came to New York for many reasons, but I want to just mention 2. The clean cost of hydropower is an attraction, and one that's a real, you know, it's a real advantage for us because, first of all, you know, we have a wafer process that cuts the amount of energy needed to make the wafer by a factor of 3, so that's pretty clean. But then secondly, now we can use hydropower that, of course, doesn't have any CO2 at all. And so Steve Heitz from Genesee County calls that clean to green, and it's a phrase I've really come to like. Secondly, the tremendous talent pool in this region was an important reason to move here. You know, if you want to change the world, then you need talent next to you. And often success depends on who is standing next to you. And so this region has an excellent labor force, and it was something that figured highly as we chose among 300 some sites that we looked at in detail. And so now it's my honor to turn the podium over to the man that has made this all possible. Thank you again, Governor Cuomo. Thank you very much. You bet.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Van Mierlo. Have you heard Mr. Van Mierlo's accent? You know what we're going to call that? A Genesee accent. That's what we're going to call that. Welcome to Genesee County. Welcome to Western New York and the Finger Lakes. As Commissioner Howard Zemsky said, this is such an exciting day. It really is. And a lot of hard work by a lot of people. And it's actually, I believe, exceeded anyone's dreams and anyone's imaginations. First to Commissioner Zemsky and the ESDC team and Andrew Kennedy in my office who worked on this project long and hard. Let's give them a round of applause. To the legislators who are here on the Assembly side, Deputy Majority Leader Grant King, Poobah, Joe Morelli, pleasure to be with you. Sean Ryan, Harry Bronson, Steve Hawley, Senator Mike Rasenhofer, let's give him a round of applause for all his hard work. To Joel Seligman and Danny Wegman, who are in charge of the Regional Economic Development Council, who really showed a lot of vision here. Pleasure to be with you. The whole team from Genesee County, Steve, who's been working on this for over 10 years, and it came home to roost. Congratulations, gentlemen. Job well done. You know, and it's an exciting day for me because we've been talking about this. We've been talking about today for 4.5 years. And we started on a different journey and a different trajectory, prioritizing upstate New York. And it was an uphill fight, and it was a difficult one. But today you can actually feel the energy change, and you can actually see the transition for upstate New York. I used to say when I first became governor that when I would spend time upstate, that too much of the discussion in upstate was about yesterday, about what we used to do or what we used to be. You'd be in Buffalo and they say, well, we used to be in the steel business. My father used to do this. Everything was about the past. Everything was about yesterday. And there was very little talk about tomorrow and the future and where we're going. And there was a sense that was palpable in upstate that you felt the best was about yesterday in the history, and there wasn't a lot of energy and direction going forward. And the truth is, upstate New York did sit idle, go backwards for a long period of time. Part of it was the economy changed, nobody's fault. Went from a manufacturing economy to a high-tech economy, jobs moved overseas, upstate New York was all advanced, was involved in manufacturing, and that left. But part of it was also that the state government writ large didn't do what it was supposed to do by coming together and figuring out, what do we do next? All right, the factory closed. It went overseas. I get it. What do we do? And how do we pick ourselves up, and how do we move forward? A lot of the things the state was doing, frankly, made a bad situation worse in upstate New York. Meanwhile, government in Albany wasn't helping, and what they were doing was probably hurting, raising taxes through the roof. New York State, highest tax state in the nation. You know what people are going to do? They're going to leave. Why? They're more mobile than ever before. Businesses are more mobile. So upstate New York had issues. We said 4.5 years ago we were going to change it. We were going to take a different course. That government could actually be part of the solution, that there could be something called entrepreneurial government, that it's not an oxymoron. Entrepreneurial government. Government that actually helps create jobs and partners in creating jobs. I spent 8 years in Washington during the Clinton years, and I was Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, which was basically an economic development lender. We lent out $30 billion a year, largest economic development lender in the federal government. And I would sit there all day long, and the state government would come in, the governor would come in with the county executive, with the head of the Chamber of Commerce, with a businessman, saying we want to do this project and we're all working together and we have a dream and we have a vision and we want federal help, but this is what we're doing. And nobody from New York came in. 8 years, nobody from New York. And I said to myself, you know, the state is just missing it. They're just missing this function of getting involved, getting active, putting the people around the table, coming up with a vision, and build for the future. The future is not just going to happen. The future is going to be what you make of it. And it's a competitive world out there, and every city's fighting for jobs, and every state is fighting for jobs. So you have to go out there and you have to win. First thing we did in Albany is we got out of our own way. First rule, when you find yourself in a hole, stop digging, right? We cut state spending so we could cut taxes. We brought the personal income tax down, we brought the corporate tax down, we brought the sales tax down, we capped the property tax for the first time because we wanted to say to businesses, this is a different reality, we get it. And then we said, we're going to come up with affirmative strategies because we had every asset you could possibly have in upstate New York. There's nothing we don't have. Best universities in the country, right here. Best workforce in the country, right here. One of the lowest costs of energy in upstate New York. We just have to put the pieces together. Silicon Valley was happening. What was Silicon Valley? That we didn't have. Great university, which we have. Great workforce coming out of the university, high-tech ideas, but the state got involved and put the pieces together to form a business that then migrated from the university and actually created jobs. And we said, well, we're going to do that in the state. And we empowered regions to do that. And then you focus on clusters, economic clusters. What are economic clusters? They're synergies of having like businesses in the same area that feed into one another. And we have a great cluster of great universities in this between Western New York and Finger Lakes. We are attracting advanced manufacturing, and solar power is, according to everyone, a big solution for the future and a solution that we want to be part of. So we invested in it. And you know what? You see a new day all across upstate New York. We were in Rochester a couple of weeks ago with the vice president. We won a photonics plant in Rochester. In an international competition, we win a photonics plant in Rochester. We're in Utica, where 30 years ago, GE moved out of Utica. GE now is moving back into Utica, bringing jobs back into Utica. Buffalo, with some of the greatest solar mines in the globe working on the old Riverbend plant. So you see the energy changing, you see the mentality changing, and you see the synergy that's now developing. Today is a game changer. This is a game changer. 130,000 square foot building. At the end of the day, as many as 1,000 jobs, quality jobs, high-tech jobs, well-paying jobs, feeding off an educated workforce, being nurtured by some of the great educational institutions in this state. That is the future. And the way it happened is the way it should happen. The IDA worked with the county worked with the region. Two regions collaborated, Western New York and the Finger Lakes, not competing, but actually collaborating and getting a world-class entrepreneur with a phenomenal product that not only can create jobs and make money, but can also make this world a better world. That's the future for the state of New York. It's an honor to be part of it. Congratulations to Genesee County. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. "30 weeks in the job, I've gotten a phone call every one of those weeks from 3 people: Mark Peterson, Steve Hyde, I'm expecting those calls to stop, by the way. Not that you're not lovely people to talk with. And one other gentleman who I'm going to introduce, my fellow Syosset High School graduate, gentleman who's been intimately engaged in this project for many years, very patient and very determined, Senator Mike Ransenhofer.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. And again, what a great, great afternoon. And Governor, thank you for your leadership, and thank you for joining us here today and the work of your great staff in putting this project together. This is a wonderful, wonderful project for all of us. As Howard just said, since day one, I have been a strong believer in the Western New York STAMP project, and I've always been confident that it would become a reality and a real winner. The site, as mentioned before, has low-cost electricity via the Niagara hydropower zone and natural gas via the Empire pipeline. It's located between Buffalo and Rochester in close proximity to the thruway. I can tell you, as Howard mentioned, we've been working on this for a long time, and when things were going slow, we were able to secure $2 million in the 2011 budget to keep the project going, and last year, $33 million to get the site shovel-ready light status. And as the governor just said, this project is a game changer for our region. And it's clear that the success that we've seen in Buffalo and Rochester is spreading across communities like ours. And it's easy to see why. As was also mentioned earlier, we have a well-trained, world-class workforce, a commitment to ensuring company success, and a governor who has been said, is committed to bringing economic development to our region, and we are seeing the results of that here today. The solar industry is booming, and innovation, like what we are seeing from 1366, is the key to making New York a global competitor. Not only does this mean job creation soon, but the beginning of more to come in the future. And through these strategic investments, we are ensuring that we remain both a leader and a contender in the global energy industry. So, Governor, again, thank you. Thank you to our partners at 1366 and the local and state economic development teams, Steve Hyde, Mark Peterson, Andrew Kennedy. Our phone calls back and forth over the years have come to pay huge dividends today. This is a big day for Genesee County and the entire Western New York region. So thank you, and it is now my pleasure to introduce my colleague and the Majority Leader of the State Assembly, Joe Morelli.
You're a good man. You will remember to do that. Thank you. I appreciate not only his hard work, his partnership, but holding out the thing so I could get up. I'm the one short guy on the stage always, but Mike Ransenhofer, thank you for being such a great partner, such a great champion of this, and for that kind introduction. This has been a priority for a long time to work on creating innovation and jobs and technology, and this is one of these days you look forward to. And I want to start by, first of all, thanking the governor again for his extraordinary effort, not only today, but over the last several years. No one has been more dedicated. In my years of service, no one in the governor's office has been more dedicated to upstate New York every single day than Andrew Cuomo has. So please, Andrew Cuomo, thank you so much for everything. I want to thank all of my partners at government at all levels. In particular, I want to acknowledge again my great friends, Harry Bronson from the State Assembly, Stephen Hawley, in whose district we sit and who's been a great partner in this, and my buddy Sean Ryan, who represents the Buffalo region, and he and I have been working together as partners on this. And Sean, thank you so much for your leadership and all the work that you've done. I remember a number of years, one of my predecessors, Paul Tokaz, called me and said, "You got to meet with this guy, Steve Hyde." And so after some badgering by Paul, I agreed to meet Steve. and I think it was with Mark Peterson, one of the early meetings years ago, and they talked about this project, and I got excited. I think innovation, entrepreneurship, this is really what it's about in rebuilding the economy for our region and for our state. And we had a chance to meet, and Steve painted this picture of essentially agricultural land that was going to be a high-tech center. And I'll admit he had me at hello. And I was a big proponent. People would say to me, really? And I'd say, no, this is going to be great. This is going to be good. I didn't really have any doubts, although after hearing so many skeptics, Steve, I was starting to wonder whether meeting with you was that good an idea. But as it turns out, it's an amazing idea. And today's announcement continues to build on that incredible momentum which we have worked so hard together with the governor and the legislature to provide. And this investment will help further the goal of establishing STAMP as one of the truly important commercially successful semiconductor and nanoscale production sites in the United States and hopefully around the world. This will also grow additional jobs around this region, which is why we're so excited. And it's always great when you get the, I'm not sure, is this Western New York, Howard? Yeah. Western New York, and this is Finger Lakes. But this was great to have the two regions come together. And I do want to thank all the members of the trades who are Paul Brown and my buddy Dave Young from our region. We got together in Albany. We talked about bringing folks together. We talked about how important this was to working men and women across the state, and we are here, and I can't say enough about organized labor's work and how important they have been to making this a reality. So I want to thank all of you. I appreciated, Howard, your kind words. I was thinking about this. My father, who just passed, moved his very young and growing family in the 1960s, about 50 years ago. He was a pipe fitter, Local 13. And he came to Rochester for opportunity for his family. It's been a long time since families moved to the Rochester region and upstate for economic opportunity. But days like this tell me that those days have arrived again, and we're going to see a lot of families coming in here. So God bless you all, and God bless you, Governor, for all the work you're doing.
Thank you, Assembly Majority Leader. The theme has been collaboration and cooperation, and a lot of people have been identified. To all of you who came today and to all of you in the community who had the vision and the tenacity to make it happen, congratulations. We've thanked a lot of folks. I want to end by thanking our ESD Finger Lakes leader, Vinny Esposito. Where's Vinny? It's all about team. Thank you so much for coming today. Congratulations to everyone.